Hola, amigos! Yo ho ho! Brad the Big Noise Evans here with you on another Bring the Noise AMA. It is Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to you and your family. If you're in the Great Lakes region, hopefully you're inside, snugly and warm, and already maybe having a schnapps or tequila or three here on this NFL Saturday. It is the semifinals fantasy football leagues pretty much universally across the board, unless you're one of those sickos that plays through the end of the season. Oh, don't want to leave any meat on the bone there in week 18. Then Godspeed to you. Yes, weather will be impactful today, especially in the game just north of where I'm at. I'm in central Illinois right now. I woke up, air temperatures right around -1 degrees outside with wind chills still below 25 to 30 degrees here in the farmland, soybean and corn country of the central ILL. And up in Chicago, conditions are going to be just as bad. You're going to have some single digit temperatures expected at game time, probably around 8 or 9 degrees. The wind's blustery, 15 to 20 consistently in the game, gusts of 35 miles an hour. So wind chill values will dip as low as 20 to 25 below early on in the game, slightly improve as the game goes on. But regardless, it is weather perfect for a Wampa on Hoth or a Tauntaun if you like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back reference. But it's going to be god awful, and Cleveland even worse. So right there along Lake Erie, if you know where the stadium is, it's right on the waterfront. So you're going to have gusty, blustery winds coming off the lake, which is going to just enhance the bitterness. Temperatures expected around 10 to 11 degrees at kickoff in Seatown, but the winds are going to be far worse than even in Chicago, as they're going to have persistent, consistent winds of 25 to 28 miles an hour with gusts as high as 50. You don't believe what I'm telling you? Think, oh, I'm embellishing this. That's crazy. Just go look at NOAA.gov. Read the forecast discussions from the meteorologists on the ground who are crunching all the data and the numbers. It's a bleak outlook in that part of the country. And as a result, we've already seen that Taysom Hill's props at all the various sports books is skyrocketing right now in terms of rush yards. There were some New Orleans Saints insiders who came out yesterday and said, yeah, Hill's going to be a large part of the game plan in this game for the Saints, which means a whole lot of RPO plays, maybe some short dump off passes, potentially to Juwan Johnson, the tight end position, potentially as well to Alvin Kamara. But I think the emphasis in this game is going to be simple on both sides of the ball. Run the ball early and often, turn it back to like 1945 football, eat clock and get the hell out of there and somewhere where it's warm. And for anybody who's attending the game, you want to take some hard, stiff liquor, sneak it in. Beer will be half frozen by the time you sit down. You're crazy because your flesh could freeze in a matter of minutes if exposed to the conditions for too long. So there's your weather report there. Winds will play a factor somewhat, I believe, too, in the nightcap in the Steelers matchup going against the Las Vegas Raiders. In Tennessee, temperatures are supposed to be in the low 20s. A little gusty wind at time there, but I don't, I'm not going to downgrade anybody. That's got Derrick Henry written all over it. And then in Kansas City, also single-digit temperatures expected at kickoff. Winds not as bad as Cleveland and in Chicago, but could get gusts up to 25 to 30 miles an hour. So the polar vortex taking its hold here on this Christmas Eve and socking the center part of the nation. Hell, yesterday, if you watch the Independence Bowl, people were really bundled up in the stands there in Shreveport, Louisiana. So it's certainly playing a factor in really influential times here and most pivotal times for a lot of you out there in fantasy land trying to survive and advance and move on to your Super Bowls of your respective leagues. All right, I am here for the next 30 minutes or so. I'm going to answer your questions. Hit me up via the three ways below, via Facebook, Yahoo Noise, on Twitch at Big Noise 78, or on the YouTube in the Fade Noise channel. Also, listen to the brand spanking new Fade 5 podcast. Myself and Nate Lundy run down all of my favorite player props here in week 16. Lundy always has the decision to fade or follow those selections. So to tune into that, and I think we got a college football pick in the Hawaii Bowl, which is going on tonight as well. So go ahead and bring your questions to me real quick. Let me run through some of my favorite player props today. Going back to Cleveland, again, given the conditions of play there, winds in excess of 45 to 50 miles per hour, and knowing the wind chill is going to be well below zero. Donovan Peoples-Jones, I'm taking the under 32.5 receiving yards in this game. I mean, how much will Cleveland really throw the ball? Same story as well on the other side of the ledger with the New Orleans Saints. Deshaun Watson may throw the ball 15 times at best. And when you have a field stretcher du jour like DPJ, a guy who is top 20 in ADOT, top 20 in yards per target, this hinders his output significantly. So knowing that ice block is being chucked in his general direction and the wind could really push the football up and down and sail on him, I like the under here on 32.5 receiving yards. Also, Dalvin Cook, give it the over. 76.5 rush yards. This line has been moving. It opened at 73.5. Had various sports books this week, and it's moving northbound for good reason. Cook has hit the over on this in 10 games this season. It's 3.24 yards after contact per attempt on the season. He's forced a missed tackle over 20% of the time. Outstanding advanced analytics in those categories. Also top 5 in opportunity share. So he is a true blue Clydesdale, a true blue Rudolph pulling the sleigh here for the Minnesota Vikings. And you get the Giants, who have been god-awful, to say the least, defending the run here in the last 5 weeks, giving up 145.0 rush yards per game and 5.33 yards per carry to the running back position, plus 11 guys have hit 74 rush yards against them this year, or 77, I should say. So I love maximize the matchup there. Dalvin Cook, give me the over on 76.5 rush yards. I may even play this up to like 99.5. I get it like plus 250 on a 100-yard output. That's awfully enticing for Dalvin Cook. Elsewhere, Cam Akers. Let's get a play here on Christmas Day. And again, I hope you're going to enjoy the festivities with your families. I'm taking the over 53.5 rush yards. It's just showed up right now at BetMGM, and I like the juice there, minus 115. I think it's going to get juiced up. Akers is reverting to the player that we expected him to be when you draft him, say, in the 3rd round of your fantasy exercise back in August. Guy has gone over into his last 3. In those 3 efforts, he's seen between 12 and 17 rush attempts in a game. And last week against the Packers, I understand it's the Packers, roll out the red carpet for the opposition, but 3.92 yards after contact per attempt. So he was finishing runs and hopefully building off that momentum. It'll carry over into this game, as the Denver Broncos in their last 5 have allowed 97.0 rush yards per game. And on the season, they've given up 4.18 yards per carry, and over 10, exactly a dozen guys have run for 54 yards against them this year. So in a game that only a gambler or fantasy player could love, you want some action on Christmas Day. Take Cam Akers. I did. Go down the ship with me on the over 53.5 rush yards. Again, got to get to your questions here momentarily. Hit me up via Yahoo Noise, on Facebook, on Twitch at Big Noise 78, or on YouTube and the Fade the Noise channel. Subscribe now. All kinds of content through the NFL season coming out there. And I may even post some stuff during the NCAA tournament or the days leading up to it as well, because you guys know I'm a bracketologist for Bally Sports. I handicap a ton of games. I got a couple of tickets already open tomorrow. Love Washington State in the Diamond Head Classic against Utah State. Wazoo catching 4 in that game. We get all those picks, fade or follow them. And right now I've been really ice cold, admittedly, in not only NFL, but recently too in college basketball, but still up a couple of units on this season. So I will take it. All right, let's go ahead and kick it off with J-Red. J-Red says, need 2 for running back, 2 at a flex and a PPR. A lot of options here. Tyler Algier, AJ Dillon, Darius Slayton, Marquise Goodwin. It could be stinky good today in KC. DPJ out. Hollywood Brown out because we don't know if he's going to play. He's questionable. Deion Jackson, muy interesante. Miles Sanders and Fournette. So a couple of running backs that are like Fournette and Sanders, I think, have to be in. Fournette is now getting the heavy shot side of the timeshare with Rashad White. He's got over 30 receiving yards in 3 consecutive games. I think it's good more of the same for him in that matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, who are just done for the season, offensively, defensively. I mean, Trace McSorley is your quarterback for crying out loud. So positive game script, good shot for him to find the end zone. Always a good shot for Sanders to find the end zone as well, though the matchup much tougher against the Dallas Cowboys. Deion Jackson is another one that is in for me. I think you could catch anywhere between 5 to 7 balls, even with Nick Foles under center there. But you look at the Chargers, a team that does give up a ton of receptions there in the flat to opposing plowshares. So I like Deion Jackson. And then the third option it's really tough. Given the PPR element, though, I will go with Marquise Goodwin, who was going to be the wide receiver, too, for Geno Smith and company today in the center part of the country against his Kansas City Chiefs, who have been at times quite generous to the wide receiver position. I think it could be 4 to 5 receptions. It could be north of 50 yards and a possible touchdown. I wrote about him in my Fantasy Flames piece this week at Bally Sports. Brandon Einstein, kicker weather question. And yeah, that's the other, tied to perspective here with the weather in Chicago and Cleveland and Pittsburgh and some of these affected areas. Trust Carlson and the weather or pivot to McLaughlin in a dome. In these situations, don't trust a kicker and weather ever. Go to the guy in the dome playing in perfect kicking conditions. And Chase, too, ILL, INI, former Illini, looked good last week in that historic crumbling exhibited by the Indianapolis Colts. It's 2 degrees and real feel is minus 17. Daniel Jones or Gardner Minshew, I need points. Well, I think you're going to go with a dual threat there. And Daniel Jones get it done with the arm and obviously with the legs. As an aside, on a related note, I took the over on Daniel Jones, 33.5 rush yards. You look at Minnesota getting outside the tackle box is a way you can really beat them on the ground. And Jones, I think will do that or, have some opportunistic runs he will take advantage of. And then, of course, you could take advantage of that weak secondary. So could be 200 plus pass yards for Jones. Could, dare I say it, be a multi-passing TD kind of game for him, and a game with some shootout appeal. So for me, I'm going to go Daniel Jones and bundle up John or just, have another shot. Jimmy says, Merry Christmas, Brad. Merry Christmas to you. Brandon Ayuk or Gabe Davis, full point PPR. Again, I'm pivoting off some of the vertical options, especially the deep ball threats in these wind-impacted games. And that is certainly one in Chicago against the Buffalo Bills. So, again, I'm going to shift from Davis. I'm going to go to Brandon Ayuk. More difficult matchup on paper for Brandon Ayuk, but maybe he catches one of the 2 touchdowns that Brock Purdy will throw. And by the way, the over on Brock Purdy, 1.5 passing touchdowns, plus 130 right now at BetMGM. Kanan Cash says, roll with Gabe Davis or pick up Shaheed. No, because he's also in a win game. Goodwin, DeMarcus Robinson, or Richie James. I go Marquise Goodwin. Again, the opportunity is ripe for him to lure maybe 20 to 25% of the team target share. A game that you could have a deficit for the Seattle Seahawks, and it's an opponent you could throw on in the Kansas City Chiefs. So I maximize the matchup there. I want nothing to do with these guys in these frigid, wind-impacted games. Elsewhere, Aubrey Sorensen, hola to you. Half point PPR. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Let's see. The wide receivers, I'm going to go with Goodwin there over, again, a Cleveland Brown and Amari Cooper and Pickens, too. Deep ball threat. And winds could crank up to 30, 35 miles an hour with some of the bigger gusts in Pittsburgh tonight. And a frigid temperatures also expected there as well. And then in the flex position, Fournette, Mostert, or Patterson. CP is out. I think the higher floor here is Fournette, but if you want to chase ceiling, it's Raheem Mostert. Steve Juice, thanks for all you do. Hey, thank you, Steve. Muchas gracias, too. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad, my man. Enjoy it with your friends and family. Hopefully, Sean says, hola, amigo, hola to you. Championship round, really early. Half PPR. Aaron Jones or Najee Harris, Goddard or Hawkinson. I like Aaron Jones this week, working outside the tackle box as a receiver. A.J. Dillon is, stolen some of the thunder between the tackles. But here's the good news. This game going to be played there on South Beach. Frigid conditions here in Miami for the locals. I mean, I'm probably already cranking the heat on with temperatures expected to be like in the 50s, but balmy by the other standards right now in other parts of the country. I go Jones, slight advantage over Harris there. And then I like Goddard. Last time he and Gardner Minshew were on the field together, it was 100 plus and a couple of touchdowns on the connection between those two. I think he's going to work heavily underneath against the Dallas Cowboys, though the Cowboys have allowed the third fewest fantasy points to tight ends this season. J Red says Chiefs, Browns, or Chargers defense. Really close here between the Browns and the Chiefs. Chargers are out. They can't stop anybody on the ground. And as a result, you look at the matchup today, or a Monday, I should say, against Indianapolis. I know Deion Jackson and Zach Moss could be heavily involved. I'm gonna avoid the Chargers. I'm gonna pivot off that. Give me the Browns. I will maximize the weather impacts there. Jimmy says A.J. Dillon or Zach Moss. Give me Zach Moss, slight edge over A.J. Dillon. Pickens or Amari Cooper. With the game being played after the sun sets tonight in Western Pennsylvania, maybe the winds will diminish ever so slightly. That is not going to be the case in Cleveland. Again, gusts up to 50 miles an hour. They have wind advisories in effect. You don't believe me? Just go to NOAA.gov, type in Cleveland, Ohio, and read the forecast. I'll make this up, folks. I've got an advanced degree in geoscience with an emphasis in meteorology. All right. I'm a weather nerd. So I've been reading all the forecast discussions, looking at all the various maps, and coming up with my own beliefs and what is going on. But if you live in the area, you know exactly what's going on. Just step outside and you're like, oh, hell no. I'm going right back in. That's exactly what you're saying, because it's brutal out there. Debbie says, good morning. Merry Christmas Eve. Ho, 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 Debbie. Starting Hopkins, Pittman, and need a third wide receiver. Gabe Davis out. Hollywood Brown, maybe. KJ Osborne or Jahan Dotson. At this juncture, I would wait and see on Hollywood Brown. Here's the good news. Where is it? Good news? No, it really isn't. I don't think you can wait and see on Hollywood Brown because he is questionable. There's a possibility he doesn't play tomorrow, and you don't have another option in that game. You got Osborne, you got Dotson. I go Osborne, honestly, out of this group, and hope for the best. Jerry Amaro says PPR need one flex and a running back. Jamal Williams, he's in. I think he's going to score a touchdown today. Zach Moss, Pittman, Taysom Hill. Merry Christmas, and Merry Christmas to you too, Jerry. Oh, boy, this is a tough one. Pittman is muy interesante, though the change of quarterback could really alter things there. Zach Moss, a player that could get 15 carries in that game against a very soft run defense. And Taysom Hill was going to see a spike in his usage. Very tight, but push comes to shove here. Jamal Williams and Zach Moss, I'm going to follow the matchup and the volume potential there. Pittman or Chark in a PPR. Give me Pittman. Jimmy says last one, Cleveland D or Steelers. I'm going to go Cleveland. Jackson says stick with Njoku or go with Bellinger. Aikens, Okonkwo, Otten, or Brait. Yuck. I really love Okonkwo. But the change at quarterback there has really altered things when Malik Willis taking the snaps instead of Ryan Tannehill. Otten and Brait are going to split time, though it's a great matchup against Arizona. Bellinger, it's still tough, though it is also a very good matchup. Any vertical asset on the Giants has potential to go off today. I tell you what, I'm going to roll the dice with Okonkwo, and hopefully they'll have a nice little rhythm there with Malik Willis in the short field. Sean says RB quandary. Half point PPR, he needs one. Robinson, Herbert, Edwards. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Same to you. I'm going to go with Gus the Bus. And truth be told, I took the over on his rush yards prop yesterday, was sitting at 37.5. He and J.K. Dobbins are going to be stressed today. Blustery conditions also expected in Baltimore. Game time temps there right around 15 degrees. So it's going to be equally miserable. If you're in the stands watching the game, Huntley is going to be quarterbacking for this team. And you're taking on the ATL. Atlanta give it up in their last 4 games, 4.38 yards per carry, 114.0 rush yards per game, just to the running back position. So Dobbins, probably good for another 15 carries. Edwards, I think, is going to get right around a dozen carries in this game. A lot of upside there with that, given the matchup. Chris says, need one, Jerry, Judy, Moss, Walker, or Mostert. Walker's such a crapshoot, man. Really tough to decipher what he's going to do. Jerry, Judy, kind of like him. If there's a PPR element to this league, he would probably get the nod there. But if it's a standard setup, give me Zach Moss. Slight advantage over Raheem Mostert. Shane says, what's up? Pick 2, Jamal Williams, Slayton, Gus, Pickens, Moss, and Herbert. Welcome to week 16 with all these options. Williams is in. Touchdown appeal is very real today. And then the other one, I'm going to go with Zach Moss for all the reasons I mentioned before. Shane says Dak or Fields, got to go Fields. He's got to run like mad. He may not throw for 100 yards, but he could run for it and a touchdown. Mark says standard league, D-Hop, MVS, Chark, Osborne, or Goodwin. Normally it's a slam dunk with DeAndre Hopkins, but again, Trace McSorley under center, get that Tampa secondary, which has been inconsistent at times this year. I'm going to go Marquise. I'm going to, play the old Team Huevos card here and say he goes for 50 yards and a touchdown. Joe says PPR, DJ Moore or Deontay Johnson. Deontay slight edge to me there. Dak or Brady? Brady over Dak, especially with that bonus for 300 yards and play. What up, Brad? Says Matt. What up, Matt? Gabe Davis or Marquise Goodwin's good one. Again, and want to pivot off those options in Bears and also in Bills. The only guy that would remotely trust is Stephon Diggs because he could compile the catches in the short field. I think it's going to be a lot of running, not only with the backs, but also with the QBs in that game, Josh Allen and Justin Fields. Hola to you, Frank. Taysom or Knox, Taysom all day. Again, given the ramp up and opportunity share expected for him. Danny Dimes or Uncle Rico, that is Gardner Minshew. I'm going to go with Danny Dimes, please. And thank you. Pick 2 running backs, Stevenson, Connor, Mixon, or Walker. Stevenson is expected to play. Mixon, I am fading this week. Not the most glorious matchup as the Patriots allow just 3.85 yards per carry at the running back position. And P. Ryan is eating into his volume. Connor, he's the main man, and he will get plenty of work. Or Walker. I'm going to go Walker slight edge. A better shot there to find the end zone against KC, which is middle of the road defensively against the running back. I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson. Rah, 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 rah. Joe says PPR. I think I already answered this one, but I'll tell you again, Deontay over DJ Moore. And then in a 0.25 per carry, why? Why are we rewarding for a simple handoff in fantasy? Tell your commissioner that is a lame move. And I'm going to go McKinnon there as a result, and Brady over Dak. Brian says Pickens, Goodwin, Rashid Shaheed. No, not Shaheed. I know Olave is out for you. You weren't going to play him anyway. Not when you have wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour, sustained winds at 25 to 28 miles an hour, and wind chill values approaching minus 25 there in Cleveland. I'm going to go with Goodwin over Pickens as well. Again, winds will play a factor too, not as harshly in Pittsburgh compared to Cleveland, but it will happen. Danny already answered your question. Lucky guy says, need a wide receiver in a flex out of these in a guillotine league. Lamb, Metcalf, Keenan Allen, Waddle, Kamara, Aaron Jones, or Ramondre in a PPR. Keenan Allen is in for me. And then the other one comes down to, do you go with Lamb? Tough matchup there, going against that Philly secondary. DK Metcalf, who is going to see a spike in volume, though he could get a lot of double, triple teams down the field with Tyler Lockett out. Waddle, you know what? I'm going to go with Aaron Jones as the other guy, and Keenan Allen in a PPR. I think Aaron Jones getting a lot of work as a receiver in that matinee on Christmas Day. Matt says Mostert or Rashad White. I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert. McKinnon or Elliott in a PPR. PPR, go with McKinnon, but I believe that Zeke Elliott is going to score. And yes, I wagered on that plus 110, believe it or not, at BetMGM on an anytime touchdown for Zeke, who was scored in 7 straight games. Marky D says, Merry Christmas. Merry Xmas to you, my friend. Thank you for another great advice, entertainment. Yeah, thank you. What are your feelings on Walker Day? Peace and love, amigo. It's all about game flow, right? And Walker may catch a couple of balls. But Seattle has got to be competitive in this game against Kansas City. Otherwise, Walker's going to get some early work, and it's going to be bye-bye, sayonara, see you later. So a guy that I think you're looking at probably 50 to 60 total yards, decent shot at a touchdown, not a whole lot more outside of that. Chris says, should I start Johnson, the tight end for the Saints, or Andrews? I would still go Mark Andrews over Jawan Johnson, given the conditions here in Cleveland. Half point PPR pick 2. Stevenson, Connor, Mixon, and Walker. Again, from Daniel, I'm going to go with Stevenson there. And I'll go with Connor, given the PPR element over Mixon, though Mixon will probably catch a ton of balls in the backfield as well. I think Connor's got a better shot of finding the end zone. Frank, what do you think of this 4-leg on the underdog pick'em anytime TD for Barkley? Godspeed on that. Dalvin, yeah, I like that. Jefferson and Ramondre, which is kind of tight. The middle two are probably the strongest options here in Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. Saquon has been one of the worst yak per attempt backs here the last 5 weeks running. So that's the only, I think, weak link there. Terry says Chiefs or Bucks. I'm going to go with the Bucks. Merry Christmas to you as well, Chris. Enjoy the day. And tomorrow as well, I'm just pondering whether to trust Kenny Walker if he plays or go with Mostert. I actually go with Mostert over Walker. A lot of downsides here with Walker. And again, I think the maximum is like 50 to 60 total yards and a score. Ryan says Browns, Chargers, or Eagles, D. Cleveland, please. Nick says Merry Christmas, bear down. Chicago Bears. Competitive losers. That's all I want. Rest of the season. That's it from my Chicago Bears. Get that draft pick elevated. Chris J. Johnson is in the worst weather. Yeah, no doubt about it. I believe it. Felice Navidad. Felice Navidad to you. Need one to sit. Cook, KW3. That's Kenneth Walker the third. And McKinnon. It's got to be Cook. I still go with Kenneth Walker, even the higher volume potential there. Denver, Philly, or Tampa defense. Give me Tampa. Brian says, need 2 in a standard scoring. Hollywood, we don't know if he's going to play. Lazard, he is in. Moss, he is in. Foreman, he is out. Tommy says, full point PPR, a wide receiver and a flex. Give me Devontae Smith and give me Pacheco. Slight advantage there over playoff Lenny. Although Lenny's probably going to get 3 to 5 receptions, so the floor is safer with Fournette, but Pacheco, really good shot to find the end zone, I believe, today. Freiermuth or Juicy Johnson. Give me Freiermuth. Chargers or Browns, D? Browns, D. A lot of Chargers, D questions. I can't stop the run. Have a great Christmas, Terry. Appreciate it. Ryan says Dallas, Cleveland, Cincinnati defense. A lot of defensive questions today. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns again, and the weather effects there. Geno or Brock Purdy. I'll go slight edge there. Geno Smith. Corey says start 2 in a flex. Lamb, AJB, or Godwin. It's 100% Godwin for me. Slight advantage over the other options at play, but I think Godwin goes for like 670 and a touchdown. Saints, Chargers, or Titans. Give me New Orleans. Daniel says Prescott, or Prescott, I should say. Prescott is a city in Arizona, and he spelled the same way, and you have to say it as Prescott, or they'll kick you out or actually not let you in the city limits. Anyway, I digress. Dak, Goff, or Daniel Jones. Give me Daniel Jones. Corey says start 2 in a flex PPR. Lamb already answered this one. Brendan says Zeke or Pollard pair with Jokic Taco. I have no idea what the Jokic Taco is. It sounds delicious. Give me Zeke. Again, he scored in 7 straight games, but Pollard could put up similar numbers in that contest. He like Minshew and Dak over on an INT. Yeah, I do actually. More so Minshew than Dak. Hola, Brad. Hola to you, Frank. Curly in a mental pretzel. It's twisting you in knots for his defensive question. Who do you like most? LAR, who I picked up and I am actually streaming today in one of my semifinals. Detroit, the Chargers, or Cincinnati? I'd go with the Rams. Kittle or Goddard? Give me Kittle, please. Slight edge there, though I got them both ranked top 5 this week. Mark says, Hola, Fields or Burrow? Give me Fields. Connor or Zeke? I'm going to go with Zeke. Corey says, start 2 in a flex PPR. I think I've already answered this like 6 times, Corey. Keith, Burks, Peoples, Godwin, Goodwin, Osborne. I have no idea what this is. Burks, I guess it's Peoples Jones. No, you don't want, again, any wide receiver in that Cleveland and Saints game. I'm going to go with Marquise Goodwin out of that Quattro. Fields or Dak? Give me Fields. Matt says need 2. Connor, Dave Montgomery, mandatory Montgomery, Nick Chubb or McKinnon in a PPR. McKinnon's got to be in. And I'm going to go slide edge to Nick Chubb there. Maybe he'll catch a couple of passes for you. Again, throwing the ball downfield is going to be quite the chore. Butler or McLaughlin from the Colts? Give me the guy kicking a dome. John says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Same to you, John. Muchas gracias, amigo. Brian says, Feliz Navidad, Feliz Navidad. Pacheco or Rashad White? Give me Pacheco. Goodwin or Amari Cooper? I'm going to go Goodwin. Everett or Okonkwo? Give me Everett. Start 2. That's the same question, Corey. I've already answered it like 4 times. You don't want me turning into the Grinch here on Christmas Eve. Feliz Navidad, Cam Akers or DeAndre Swift? Give me Akers. Hola, Fields or Burrows? I think I already answered this one too. It's Fields for me. And I'm going to go Zeke over Connor. Germ says Tampa or Tennessee defense. Give me the Buccaneers. Yar. Who do you like on the Titans and the Texans? Are you talking just standard line? I think Tennessee shows up. I know Houston has played really well, but I will lay the chalk with the Titans. How on earth are the Texans going to stop Derrick Henry? Seal. Smashel. The football Frankenstein is going to be pulling the sleigh like Rudolph in this game. Remember, went for 200 plus and a couple of touchdowns in the first matchup. Good luck. Michael says Cooks, London, Dotson, Hollins need 2. I did London for 1, and I'm going to go with Dotson for the other. Taysom Hill or Darren Waller? Give me Taysom Hill. Hill could get like 15 carries in this game. I'm not exaggerating. Steven says PBR, tight end, Hill, Okonkwo, or Fant. Again, I'm going to go with Hill. DPJ or Drake London? London all day. Steven says Tampa Bay or Tennessee? Tampa for me. You're welcome, Michael. Brendan says Tyler Bass or Pippin and McLaughlin. He pivoted the guy kicking in a dome. Fields or Burrow? Yeah, I already answered that one. Corey, damn it, I've already answered it like 7 times. Quit hammering me. Joe says, thanks for all the advice. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. You, Dak or Gino? Give me Gino. Hodgins, Algier, Hollins in a half-point PBR, a half point for a first down. I'm going to go with the running back and the guaranteed touches in Tyler Algier. John says, good morning. Buenos dias, amigo. Full point PPR, need 2. Would you go with Robinson, Goodwin, Gabe Davis, or Dotson? I'm going to go with Goodwin. Auburn says Niners or Bucks. Give me the Niners. Mark, you're just as bad as Corey. Again, guys, I've answered your questions. You can watch the replay here momentarily. Wake up. Quit hammering me. Joe says PPR, Komet, Royce, or Jalen Warren. Ugh. Yikes. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I guess I'll go with Komet and hope he gets like 5 catches for 20 yards. Steve, the mustache in Dallas or Purdy? Give me Purdy. I got the over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Roger says full point PPR, need 2 out of Herbert, Singletary, or Akers. Akers is in. And I'm going with Devin Singletary for the other. I don't have my audio hooked up. Otherwise, I would give you some Mario. I love the Oreo Speedwagon. I do. Keep on loving you, baby. Bo says, Merry Christmas Eve. Half point PPR, need 1 flex. Avante Smith, Michael Pittman, DeAndre Swift, Latavius Murray. Give me a half point PPR, DeAndre Swift by a nose. McKinnon or Fournette? McKinnon. I got him ranked top 10 this week, folks, at the running back position. Field goal props today. I haven't really seen that. My favorite receiving prop today, however, is Jared McKenna. I took the over 20.5 receiving yards yesterday, but I believe that line has spiked. I also like the over tomorrow on Al Lazard in the low 40s right now, receiving yards. I think he gets back on track. Jimmy says Tua or Kirk. Give me Tua. Kicker options, Dicker or Mayer. Give me Dicker, the kicker. Brian says Dolchich or Fant. If he plays, I'm going to go with Noah Fant there, barely. Derrick Henry rushing yards is a trap. Should we pivot to a fantasy score or TD? Do a same game parlay, which I already did. I took the line down to 85 rush yards and match it with a Henry anytime touchdown. It's a plus odds, low plus odds, like plus 105, but that's the way I'm playing this. Hola, Merry Christmas. Same to you. Three-legger rushing yards. Sanders, 60 plus. Josh Allen, love that, 50 plus. And Dobbins, 60 plus for a cool, plus 335. Sanders, the only one I'm iffy on, but the other two I like tremendously. Best of luck to you. Do you see Brian Robinson going over on his rushing at 44.5 on Prize Picks? I say avoid. I say San Francisco is a wall, man. They really defend the run. Goodwin or Kenneth Walker and a half-point PPR as a flex. Give me Kenneth Walker. Just follow the volume there. Feliz Navidad, amigo. Same to you. DJ Moore, Kamara, Pickens, Moss, Gabe Davis, need 3. Kamara, Moss, and DJ Moore, please. And thank you. Michael says last one, Dolchich or Fant. Fant, I think, finds the end zone. So I'm going with it, and that negates your Geno action if you're into that sort of thing. Montgomery or Pacheco. Give me Pacheco. Tequila time. Amen, brother. And a couple of more here. Ayuk or Scary Terry. Give me Terry McLaughlin. Or Terry McLaurin, I should say, not McLaughlin. Thank you, Brad. Happy holidays. Same to you, Matt. And Deontay Walker, Gabe Davis, Gus Busting, 2.5-point PUR. You were still live in a lot of leagues, Anthony. I'm going to go there with Walker and no. Scratch that. Give me Gus the Bus and give me Moss. And last one, Josh Allen rushing attempts at 8 or rushing at 48. How about both? Can you parlay those two together? I think he hits 50 rushing yards a day, and I think he's going to have probably 10 to 12 calls of his own in this contest. Guys, I'm out of time. Live on the line coming up on Valley Sports, Regional Sports Networks, or stream the show at watchstadium.com/live. Again, watchstadium.com/live. There it is. We will have an episode today. We're going to have a special Christmas Day episode tomorrow. I don't rest. I don't sleep because there are bets that need to be placed, whether on the NFL and college basketball. There is action tomorrow. Bowl games, college football, the NBA, the NHL. We cover it all live on the line coming up at noon Eastern on Valley Sports, Regional Sports Networks, and on Stadium. You can stream the show at watchstadium.com/live. Merry Christmas to everybody that's out there. Enjoy it with yourself and your families. Make some moolah, and hopefully Santa is going to come visit you and not deliver a big old boulder of coal in the stocking, which I receive every single year. Until next time, adios, amigos.